Hi, everybody, and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. And today we're going to talk about Jackson County Board of County Commissioners' discussion of redrawing the district lines.
In national news, we'll talk about our first Black National Security Advisor, Colin Powell, dies at 84.
Then we'll go to sports and talk about some high school football action as well as college football action.
And in entertainment, we'll talk about Kanye West's new name and his new haircut.
And then we'll switch to our relationship tea and discuss the value of support in relationships. And we'll get started right now. So Byron, for the local news, we'll talk about the Jackson County Board of County Commissioners. They met on Tuesday night and they discussed redrawing the lines. What happened was the Jackson County NAACP, as well as the ACLU, which is the American Civic Liberties Union, they wanted to put together a map, which they did, and they came pretty close to putting together something similar that some of the county commissioners had discussed. So they presented the map. President Linda Franklin presented the map to the Board of County Commissioners, as well as the actual school board district members were there present as well. They talked about it, they looked at it, and agreed that was a good start. The NAACP president presented. They looked at the numbers, and I think I have them right here. According to the map that they presented, it actually allowed for District 1 to have 8,509 bodies in the district. Now I'm going to recap because some people may not have watched the last two sessions, but what has happened, the county commissioners are trying to redraw the line so that all 5 districts have the same amount of people in them, because that is what the census data requires. So right now, Districts 3 and District 1 are way below the population number that is desired, and that number is 9,464. So Byron, what has happened? They wanted to redraw the lines, but there's a catch to it. There is a consent decree that was established in 1986 that basically stated that District 1 had to remain majority African American.
Yeah, so with the I know with the last census we were like what, minus 2,000, is that correct?
Yeah, it was 2,400. We lost 2,464 people in the last 10 years for various reasons.
So I'm gonna guess that 9,464 number would kind of go down a little bit as far as that even number. That's what.
No, that's the number, because they based that on the current population for Jackson County, which is like 47,000 and some change, and then they divided that by the 5 districts, and that 9,464 number is the number that they're trying to meet. Now, mind you, you can get within 5 to 10% deviation from that number in each district, because you're not going to hit it right on. So. Yeah. The map that the NAACP and the ACLU presented equaled basically 8,509 that would put, that will be in District 1. And they just kind of carved out some from District 2, District 3, as well as District 5. And Byron, I'll tell you this, in District 1, they're going to keep 4,904, and this is the proposed map. In District 2, they will lose 932 people to District 2, but also gain 42. So the majority of the gain comes in District 3, which is 2,239 people. And then from District 5, 1,324. So when they did the map, redrew the lines, those are the kind of the population that will help maintain the majority African Americans in District 1.
So I'm curious to know where those lines changed at.
Well, I have the streets. Are you familiar? I'll go to District 5. So okay. Say for instance, they're going to gain from District 5, that area in Malone is called Ellis Church and Ellis area. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
So everything west of Friendship Church Road from the county line to the existing boundary will go to District 1. And then also south of Bascom, which is south of Dozier Road and Wintergreen, following Wintergreen down to Two Egg, continuing south from Two Egg along Flat Road to Hartsville Road. Are you familiar with that area?
Yeah, that sounds like the way I live at may got pushed into District 1.
Because that's Precinct 1 and some of Precinct 10. Okay,
Okay.
so that's how they carve that out. That will help them get the number that they need in District 1. And then in 3, there was some along South Street, and we'll go over that later, in Highway 90, that will be brought in as well. So again, Byron, that is the proposed map from President Franklin and Jackson County BOCC, as well as the ACLU. Now, I want to add this: the supervisor election did present first, and there's an app that they're using to, come up with these numbers, because there's a map. When you look at the map that they presented, you can kind of manipulate it with this app right here. And it's basically, shows you if you move this way, how many gets added. If you move that way, how many gets added. So that's the map they was working with. And the ACLU attorney, Nicholas Warren, did help Carol Donaway understand the app and be able to use it. And so she basically presented this app to the Board of County Commissioners and explained it to them, and they were able to follow it. So that's her piece in this role.
So it looks like I know the last week we was talking about how it would be better to have a outside entity or a consultant. It looks like the NAACP and the ACLU basically ended up being that entity.
Yeah.
And I, like I say, I always, the point of us doing the show and being informative is to always raise awareness and ask questions. And there's nothing wrong with asking questions, because for me, I would always ask the question, well, why is there such a determination and such a strong-willed, steadfast, kind of bullheadedness to do this on your own by yourself within, with no outside external help, when it comes to something that it seems to me like a very tedious process. So once again, those citizens that participated, make sure you come back next this upcoming Tuesday as well, because you have to stay focused and stay engaged on making sure that what happens on this redistricting happens according to what you want, how you want it done.
Right.
But yeah, that was the thing for me, But looks like it's going on a good path. I know was a Commissioner Pate had a layout as well. Did he
he presented a map? Yeah, he presented a map too, and unfortunately, actually his was pretty close to what the NAACP and the ACLU presented. However, his map left the school from being in District 1. And of course, we know right now in District 1 is Graceful School and then Cottondale Elementary. Well, his map put both of those schools, in addition to Cottondale High School, in District 2, and that can't happen. You have a sitting school board member currently in District 1. So he did say he did not realize that when he did the map. It wasn't his intent to take a school from District 1. So, but County Commissioner Alex McKinney, which is the County Commissioner for District 1, he basically said, and strongly said, he wants Graceful School to stay in District 1. He is an alumni of Graceful School. He graduated in '82, and he has relationships there. So he is very adamant about Graceful School remaining in District 1. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how they make that happen. Because, there's a commissioner that basically really was not feeling the map that the NAACP proposed. He couldn't say why. He just said that, other than he's losing bodies, but he has to lose bodies. You got to take him from 2, 3, and 5. You can't take him from 4, because that's not even close to District 1. So that it has to be 2, 3, or 5. What I wanted to let you know, the name of that app that they're using is called DRA 2020, aka Dave's Redistricting app, and that's the app they've learned to use. That's the app they're manipulating to try to get the number. So that is key. And kudos to Nicholas Warren. I've had conversations with him. He's been very helpful for the ACLU. He's an attorney, and he's basically stepped in and really helped the NAACP, as well as the supervisor election, and now trying to help the Board of County Commissioners into coming up with some type of agreement that will satisfy all parties involved. So I want to make sure we do that, and just keep abreast of it. Make sure you're watchful, like Byron indicated, is very important, and you want to make sure that is done properly, because again, they have to accomplish two things in this mission. They do have to make sure they come close to that 9,464, making all 5 districts equal. And they also have to make sure that District 1 remains majority African American. So that's it for that. Okay. And the next meeting, like Byron did say, they're going to meet again on Tuesday, this time at 2 p.m. So for those of you that will be at work, you can watch it on YouTube. The Jackson County Board of County Commissioners do have a YouTube page that you can watch it. So it's an odd hour, but yeah, it is. And the school board is also going to be in that meeting. They were there this past Tuesday. They were putting their input in as well of what they would like to see, and just kind of trying to get some understanding. Byron, they're actually meeting at 7 a.m. on that same day. Yeah, they're having a special meeting 7 a.m. to discuss redistricting, so they can, I guess, come back at 2 with the county commissioners and just, put in more input. So that's interesting as well.
So for those that, just real quick, for those that may not understand why the school board is being involved, because both mirror the districts in the same format. So for anybody that may be confused, school board district and county commissioner districts, they stay the same so that it minimizes confusion. And when it comes to elections and things of that such, you have the same representation for both.
Right. That makes sense. And keep in mind also, as you're going through this process, if you're trying to figure out, if anybody asks you why is it the consent decree important, it's because we know that only African Americans that ever been elected in Jackson County, they come from District 1, and that's for county commissioner and the school board. So they're trying to maintain that we have some representation, because districts 2, 3, 4, and 5 have not elected an African American on the school board or as county commissioner in the history after emancipation. So that's why it's important. So if anybody asks you, you can tell them that.
And my last point, I'm going to hammer again. People understand. I think our biggest problem is that we don't understand local politics, because local politics is what really matters. Local politics is what really affect your day-to-day livelihood. And we're fighting for one commissioner seat, 1 out of 5. So that means that's not a gimme to just say, oh, we got that one and we go back home. No, you still have to get max participation, get engaged, get involved, and vote. Register, vote. Know who these people are, know who the candidates are, know their voting history. Go, if you can't sit in the one now because of COVID, accessibility is out there. This is one of the things that I campaign on. YouTube, Zoom, you can be engaged and still see it, even if you got to work, even if you're at school, what have you. So make sure that we're understanding this is what is affecting your livelihood, your day-to-day, your roles, your lack of internet, your lack of access, all the things that you're complaining about in the barbershops, all the things that you're complaining about at home amongst your subculture groups. This is where it's at.
This is where it's at. That's where you're right. Byron, let me take a pause here, because I want to make sure that people understand that the local and state news on Bottom Line with Roni Byron is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. They offer business insurance, life, property, as well as vehicle insurance. So make sure you reach out to TD Horn and his staff at Brightway Insurance. You can reach them at area code 850-633-3460, and they're located on Caledonia Street in Mariana. So make sure you reach out to them for any insurance needs that you may have. So again, Byron, we can't hammer this enough. This is a very important issue. I can go on and on about this, but I want people to understand you have to keep up with this. Even if you don't live in District 1, if you're in the other districts, it still affects you, because, like Byron said, hey, that may be me being pulled over into District 1 when I name the streets. So if you want to know the streets, reach out to us. I'll probably post them on our Facebook page so you can see the streets that are being proposed. Again, we're still in the proposed stages. They're still, trying to figure it out. I will say hats off to the Jackson County BOCC for, getting this out as far as the ACLU, for being upfront on this and being on top of this and putting their proposal out first. So I think it's great. So you guys applaud your Jackson County BOCC. Applaud President Linda Franklin, because she's working hard to make sure things are done the right way. So wanted to say that again.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
this is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Reach out to TD Horn and his staff. They're located at 2867 Caledonia Street in Marianna. The phone number is 850-633-3460. Again, they have whatever insurance items that you may need. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions regarding this whole situation, feel free to reach out to me and Byron. We can explain it to you. If you missed something, we'll be more than happy to explain it to you. Okay. If you didn't get it here today, if we missed something, just ask us and then we'll make sure we can address it. Okay. All right. And then the next thing I want to go on to real quick is we have a lot of community events that's happening this weekend. A lot of Halloween stuff is happening. Mosier's Farm is having an event. They started last weekend. That Mosier's Farm is in Cottondale, if you didn't know. And they have the maze that's going on, the haunted maze. So they started last weekend. It is this weekend as well, and then next weekend. So be sure to check that out. And that 2-egg
Yeah,
farm
it's the Halloween on Wintergreen. That's
Okay.
gonna be located at the 2-egg farm, the farms at 2-egg, as you were. And the movie it's a drive-in movie. It's gonna be the original Wizard of Oz. That's my favorite. So no jokes, no good. I'm a big Wizard of Oz. I probably watched that movie 1,000 times when I was a little kid. I think it's gonna be $5 to enter, and that'll get you popcorn, soda, and water. So yeah, that'll be October 30th. That'll be Saturday, October 30th. Gates open at 6:30, and the movie will begin at 7 p.m. They also have it'll be a FM radio station number that you'll dial into, and then you can just listen to the movie right in your car. You can sit on one of those bales of hay and bring the kids and enjoy the festivities. I can't promise that I'll be there. I don't know if I'll be a mascot or not, but I'll definitely be there.
All right. Well, also they have Pumpkins in the Park. Main Street Marianna has that, and that's actually tomorrow, starting from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They have fun for the whole family. There's a pumpkin contest. They have all sorts of things going on, and that basically is taking place at Madison Street Park. So be sure, to check out that event as well. It's called Pumpkins in the Park, and it's tomorrow at Madison Street, and that's being sponsored by Main Street Marianna. So take care. You have all sorts of things to take part in this weekend. Okay.
What time does that end? The pumpkin
at 2. It says it's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's a lot. Yeah. And like I said, that the whole Mosier's Farm thing, that stuff, but that's at night though, Byron. That in Cotton, it's kind of like it's a haunted maze is what that is. Okay, so cool. But I want to make sure that people know to check that out as well. And then real quick, I just want to let people know, I'll just hit on this briefly, that Governor DeSantis has basically opened up our seaports to assist in the bottlenecking that's going on. So I'll name the ones that he said is available: Jacksport, and then the one it's called Port Everglades, Port Tampa Bay, and then Port Panama City. So he says they all have capacity to take in the cargo, and that so he's actually giving incentives, Byron, to companies that bring them to our ports. So that's going to be interesting. So he's made a huge announcement saying, bring it here. We can take it. We can take it. So and then his whole thing is trying to make sure that the toys, that the kids don't miss out on the toys for Christmas. He don't want any kind of delays, don't want Santa delayed. So he want to make sure that we are helping here, helping helps here in Florida. So there you go. Cool. All right, what do you have for national?
So for national news, before I begin, People's Funeral Home, because we care, we're here when you need us. Call Long Granberry Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home. Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home. So to kind of caveat on that story about Governor DeSantis stepping in with Florida stepping in on that help, we've got the more than 600 ships are still waiting to enter ports, and crews are getting bored and kind of stepping into some mental health issues as they're waiting, with many of the world's 400,000 merchant mariners still struggling to take time off and go home. The same employees that they're kind of coming up with a little fatigue, and it's remaining a problem heading into the second holiday season of the pandemic. So not just the deckhands, their bosses, everybody's worried about mental health as the work swings between frenzy activity and more idle time. So I know we would go through the same thing in the military when we got not much for soldiers to do. A lot of stupid stuff starts to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
idle minds. Yeah. Idle minds.
So it's 600 and there's over 665 container ships were anchored waiting to enter those ports, according to data from I think it's SeaExplorer.com and Swiss freight giant Kuhn and Nigel International AG. That's about 10% of the total currently in the service globally. Ships sitting outside of Los Angeles, for instance, wait an average of more than 12 days at anchor before they can even pull into a port. So that help is needed, and hopefully with Florida and maybe some other states step up to the plate to try to help get rid of all of this product that's sitting out on these shipping docks, so that our holiday season can not be held up. Once again, me personally, I hadn't had no hiccups, but that's what the president and the rest of these states are trying to step up and get all of this cargo out of the way, because it's spanning from vehicles to food, everything. It's these large shipping containers, also known as Connex Connex boxes. Okay. Yeah, they're filled up, and they're trying to get that bottleneck out of the way. So,
well, hopefully, Byron, with the 4 ports, that I mentioned that Florida's open, and hopefully that'll help. Again, I want to make sure people understand that's Jacksport, Port Everglades, Port Tampa Bay, and Port Panama City. So hopefully they will help.
So, and this brings me to my next story. I got a little some sad news. The first Black U.S. national security, Colin Powell, who shaped the U.S. national security, dies at 84. Former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary of State, and National Security Advisor. His time lasted for a long span, all the way from the Gulf War. He was from I think it was Jamaica, Queens, New York, and went into Army ROTC and during desegregation, and then just rose through the ranks to be one of the greatest military minds of all time. In 4 decades of public service, this top leader, diplomat, national security advisor, whose speech at the United Nations in 2003 kind of helped pave the way for the United States to go into the war in Iraq. Sad to see this happen. He died as complications from having COVID-19 because he was also suffering through multiple, I hope I'm pronouncing right, myeloma, yep, which he went undergo treatment for that. He was actually about to get a booster shot for the vaccine, but that had got postponed. And he was also being treated for earlier stages of Parkinson's disease. So he had a lot of underlying conditions going on. And I know a lot of people kind of jumped on the bandwagon saying, well, because he had the vaccine, it still didn't help. It's not necessarily true. But needless to say, it's sad to see him go. 84, and he was one of my idols, one of the ones that kind of just had me, one of the first men that I saw in uniform. I was like, okay, I could do that. It kind of got me into that mode. So sad to see such a great icon leave, but hey, it was great while it lasted. I know flags all around flying half staff for Colin Powell, and hope the best for his family.
Well, Byron, I thought that was interesting that he did an interview back in July with Bob Woodward, the the journalist. Everybody knows who that is.
Mm.
But he basically told how, nobody really knew what he was going through. But he was fine. And he was like, don't feel sorry for me. I'm almost 85 years old and I drive to my treatments in my Corvette. I get out, I get my treatments. I'm serious. That's what he told him back in July. He's like, so, I'm good. He said the only thing, he realizes is that he does have a blot on his record, and that is from when he pushed the war behind that faulty information. So he did say that in the interview. But other than that, he said, he's basically lived a great life, and he was fine.
And that's the thing. What was great about him is he had the ability to, when he spoke, it was straightforward, raw, uncut, and it wasn't over people's head. It was simplified enough that everybody got it. One of his quotes back during the Gulf War was when they asked the question of what was the strategy. He said, "Our strategy is going after this army is very simple. First, we're going to cut it off, and then we're going to kill it." That was like cold. It was ice cold. So people was like, "Oh, wow." But yeah, that's like, that speaks to me. That's the world I come from. Those type of leaders are all around that have that just quick, witty response to everything. So it's sad to see him go.
Yeah, but he is to be reverenced. I know some people was not may not have been a fan of his because if for whatever reason, but he was a man that we can say was honorable and respectable, and that we could be proud to say, he was one of our own. I mean, he rose to the ranks and, did not have any type of, negativity, around him, personally anyway. And like I said, and he did say in that interview, there was only that one blot. And, was it his fault? No. Byron, you're military.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get out of military leaders. You're gonna get a real straightforward approach, integrity. They're gonna speak how they feel, straight to the truth. Not it's hard to come from that the lifestyle and the world we come from to the political arenas. It just doesn't fit. You do what you're told, pin your ears back, you get the mission done, and there's no room for back and forth talking or saying one thing and doing another. So that's kind of like the clarity that I got from it. And when you watch news day to day, it kind of becomes a same old thing. And when he would come out and speak, it was, to me, it was like one of those moments where you just got that moment of clarity, that moment of just real genuineness. And hopefully we get it inspires, a whole 2-3 generations, 4 or 5 generations to mimic and look up to. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, bless it. He's survived by his wife and 3 children.
So in my next story, Nicholas Cruz pleads guilty to the 2018 Parkland school massacre. It was in Fort Lauderdale, according to the Associated Press. Nicholas Cruz, he pled guilty this past Wednesday for murdering 17 people during the rampage at his former high school in Parkland, Florida, leaving a jury to decide whether he would be executed for one of the nation's deadliest school shootings. So he broke out and tried to give a somewhat of a heartfelt plea to the jury, and most of the parents and the survivors that were there were just, it brought them down. And even the judge that was presiding over it even got kind of choked up at the same time. So his guilty plea set the stage for a penalty trial in which 12 jurors will determine whether Cruz, which is 23, should be sentenced to death or life in prison. Given the case's notoriety, the judge plans to screen thousands of prospective jurors. jury selection is scheduled to begin on January 4th. So as he enters this plea, he's answering a long list of questions and aimed at confirming his mental competency. So he's going to try to take that route as well.
Of
But
course.
yeah, and excuse me, we all knew this strategy would come. Going back to that massacre, that attack that happened in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. So in my opinion, right, when you look at the chain of events and you look at the investigation that led, it wasn't like this was a spur of the moment thing. He planned, he well calculated this. And for people that don't know, that this is a very, very large school. For those in Jackson County, we used to these, one story, school. This is a 3-story school, very large school. For him to plan something out and spend over an hour going and finding and shooting people and imagine the screams and the pleas didn't fade him one lick. And now he's got so much to say about being forgiven. So needless to say, there hasn't been one family victim or survivor that has looked to say that they would rather him get the death penalty. I think it was one victim said that, he made the decision to shoot. I'm not God to make the decision to kill him or not. That's not my decision. My decision is to be a better person and change the world for every kid. I don't want this to happen to anybody again. It hurts. It really hurts. So I'm just going to keep going. That was Anthony Borges. He was shot 5 times and severely wounded. And he told reporters that. So that's about the best he's gonna get. He's being a young man of God and forgiving Cruz, but he just left it out. He says out of my hands. But that was the closest he's gonna get from anybody going with the death penalty. So we'll stay on that case and keep everybody updated. And that is it for national. Once again, People's Funeral Home, because we care. We are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home. Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home.
All right, so we'll move on to sports. Our high school football action for tonight. Cottondale is at Graceville. That's always been a rivalry, even when I was in high school, Cottondale and Graceville. So that game is tonight in Graceville at 7 p.m. Last week, Graceville beat Vernon 28-12. And so they're on a roll. Graceville had some issues as well. Sneeds is at Franklin County. Last week, Sneeds beat Jefferson County. And then Mariana is on the road. They're at Northview, which is a school in Escambia County. Chipley is at Lighthouse, which is also a school over that way in Pensacola area. And then Blountstown is home against Baker. So those are your high school football action games tonight. All those games kick off at 7 p.m. So make sure you try to catch one of them. And then your college football action for tomorrow, we have actually Georgia has a bye. They beat Kentucky last week 30-13, but they are resting this week. And then Alabama is at Tennessee. That game is at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Florida has a bye. Miami is hosting North Carolina State. Last week they beat North Carolina 45-42. So this week they have North Carolina State. And then Florida State is at home against UMass. FAMU is on the road against Mississippi Valley State. And Bethune-Cookman is at Jacksonville State. And then Clemson is at Pittsburgh. So that should be an interesting game. That game is on ESPN. The Florida State game is on the ACC network. And then the Miami game is on ESPN too. So if you want to check that out, you have a full day of college football action. So, and then your top 10 for your college football week 8 Georgia's number 1. Number 2 is Cincinnati. Number 3 is Oklahoma. Number 4 is Alabama. Number 5 is Ohio State. Number 6 is Michigan. Number 7 is Penn State. And number 8 is Oklahoma State. Number 9 is Michigan State. And then number 10 is Oregon. So those are your top 10 for college football. What do you have for entertainment, Byron?
So for entertainment, speaking of TV and entertainment, 2Egg TV is an off-beaten path streaming travel channel. Dale Cox and the 2Egg TV team take you on a digital adventure in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama with travel features and documentaries. You can watch 2Egg TV on YouTube, Roku, and at 2eggtv.com as 2Egg TV. So Letitia Wright, that's the actor that plays Shuri in the first Black Panther film. The Black Panther 2 is scheduled to come out, and they're expecting to be even bigger than the first. But she may be out of the Black Panther movie altogether.
Now, which one is she? You got to tell us which character was she?
She played Shuri. She played the sister.
The sister. Okay, say this. Okay, the sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Letitia, who plays Shuri in Black Panther franchise, her role may be minimized, if not taken out altogether, because of her anti-vaccine viewpoint. The rift started several months ago when she went on social media and made a post about the COVID vaccine and its safety. So Black Panther 2 is expected to be huge. Like I said, the first film made over $1 billion. So, and that was globally. So over the time, you know, as she's made these posts, they're trying to keep everything from being a negative impact on the film. So we'll wait to see what's next. And the thing is, she hasn't kind of slowed up on her stance and the way she views things, and it's bringing the filmmakers a word that is bringing a lot of undue attention, negative attention to the film. So,
did she not know that? Did she not know that, Byron?
It's kind of it's kind of like the same thing with Kyrie Irving. You know, I think sometimes people attain a level of success where they kind of figure they kind of miss the whole point. If you messing up money, you know, you can get replaced. You know, people can get rid of you and find another.
Right, because basically, let's look at her. Basically, Black Panther was her
breakout film.
Exactly. So if you're trying to continue to move forward, you may want to tone down the rhetoric, correct?
Yeah. Okay. I would.
It's not like she's a Halle Berry.
And here's the thing: if you made big money on the last film, on this one that's expected to go even bigger, why would you mess up your chances? You know, say sometimes you got to save that for another fight. You know, fight another.
But she can still make her point, Byron, without having it being negative. Just say, "Hey, I believe X, Y, Z," and that's it. She doesn't have to be so, you know, with all the rhetoric. Basically, again, she's not Halle Berry. She's not like a well-established actor. That's my point. Actress. That's my point.
And to be honest, it took a long time for Halle Berry to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a shame that'll be the hill that you want to, you know, essentially die on. But hey, if you're standing up for what you believe in, go ahead. But I think I would be more strategic about how I would handle that. Needless to say, hopefully, you know, she stays on the film and it always ends up being a hit and everything is all forgotten.
And then the mother died, right? The older lady.
Yeah, I forgot her name. But the one that played, she didn't play the mother. She played like one of the mother,
the elderly women,
leaders of the tribe.
Yeah, but
we'll post that one. Yeah. So in other news, Vegas lawyers say there's two sides to Flavor Flav's domestic battery case. So Flavor Flav, also known as, check this out, William Jonathan Drayton Jr. I never knew that.
Never knew.
Yeah, he was arrested on misdemeanor domestic battery charge stemming from a scuffle with his girlfriend at home in his suburban Las Vegas home. So he's 62. I know that he's too old to be doing all this. 62 years old.
Are you fighting at 62?
I don't get that one. Police
How old is she?
It doesn't state how old she is, but it says that
Okay.
police were called to report a disturbance at the home. He was accused of grabbing or poking the woman in the face and wrestling the phone from her hand. Um, this
They
was he was
tussling.
Yep. It was also he had like $3,000 bond. They also have a child together. They got a minor son in common. And the son told the police that he stepped in to stop the scuffle when his parents separated, and his mother lunged toward Flavor Flav, and I think she had some small cuts on the face, and it's not at all clear if those cuts came from, the altercation or not. So his public attorney, his attorney is saying that, hey, it's two sides of the story, and they feel like at the end of the day, he'll be vindicated. But just to give some more context to it, this is not the first time. This is kind of like an ongoing thing with Flavor Flav over the span of his, career. So like in '93, his criminal history includes arrests and convictions on traffic infractions, a month in jail for assaulting his then girlfriend in '91, 3 months behind bars for shooting at a neighbor in New York in '93. In 2012, he had an incident that led to an arrest, felony charges after he was accused of wielding knives, chasing and threatening his then fiance, 17-year-old son. So this is something that Flavor Flav
There's a
always,
pattern.
and he ain't learned nothing at 62. So
He 36. Yeah. She must be young. I'm just wondering. I don't know. But anyway,
it's got to be something. But he's got a wide range, when it comes to who he dates and the type of women he dates. So I don't know. It's one crazy story after another one. So that's give me another segue to Kanye West. So Kanye West changes his new name, and he got a new haircut. So Kanye changed his name. He just cut the Kanye and cut the West and cut out his middle name and everything to it's just Ye. So Ye, however way you want to do it. He officially turned that page, starting a new chapter in his life. In Los Angeles Superior Court granted the Rap Renegades petition to change his name to a single syllable. This was Monday, October 18th. The Jesus Walks rapper is known for all his hits. He did this like a couple of years back where he was saying that he was going to change his name. So now he's in that realm of the one name artists like Prince and Cher and Madonna. He made a post like that. Yeah.
Kanye.
Did
he say why he chose
Kanye never said why he does stuff. He just does it anyway.
Okay.
He celebrated with this new haircut. No, and this new haircut. Now you got this. The picture should be posting up now. But his new haircut is look, I could have helped him out on that one. I could have got that $100 or whatever he charged for that. But he just got a clipper and just went haywire on the back of his head. But I think Kanye does things just to see what'll happen. It's kind of like, you ever seen that movie Pootie Tang with
no.
Oh man. Is a part of the movie where Pootie Tang is an artist and he's dropping out his hit single, and they play the song and it's nothing. He ain't saying nothing, but it's a hit. It's like this is what Kanye is into. He's just doing random stuff. And
I see the picture.
If you even look at yeah.
Like I'm sorry, whoop whoop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when he posted the picture, he got comments real quick. Twitter lit him up. So, one guy put Barbara, what do you want? Yay, patchwork, Barbara, I got you, fam.
So, that's exactly what it looks like, patchwork. Yeah,
patchwork. So we'll see what's next for him. I know with the clothing line, some of the stuff on it is I'm not into the Yeezys, but it sells. He's grossed a lot of money. He's made more than he's ever made from a lot of the business ventures that he stepped into. So maybe this new change and new look is another big step for him. But hey, better him than me. That's what I say. Better him than me. But so speaking of TV again, this is some crazy stuff that you always catch all the time. But speaking of TV, Two Egg TV is an off-beaten pad streaming channel service, and Dale Cox and the Two Egg TV team, they'll take you on digital adventures in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama with travel features and documentaries. You can catch Two Egg TV on Roku, YouTube, and twoeggtv.com. It's twoeggtv.com. And that's mine for entertainment.
Okay, very good. All right, we'll move on to relationship T, where we're going to talk about the value of support in relationships. So we want to talk about like how valuable it is to be a supporter, especially when you are expecting support. And we're talking about when someone is in need, you're basically giving, you're being there for that person, and you're being a person that they can count on. So that's very valuable. And a lot of times that goes amiss in relationships. People are not being loyal. They're not being, that shoulder, and they're not being someone that, is dependable. So what do you think, Byron?
I think a real important aspect, and it kind of dawned on me as you were talking. People don't realize there's been a big, conversation about mental health. And to me, that support system from whether it's my dad, my mother, my wife, my sister, my brother, just to have somebody that, one, you can tell your problems to, and they don't tell your business to everybody. One, that's number one. I mean, you just got that peace of mind. That's the best thing to have. And then two, somebody that's gonna listen, actively listen, and then just even if it's just to take you away from the stresses that you're dealing with from day to day. I'm the one that definitely, me and my wife, definitely one that could tell you, having a family of 5 kids and all around the same age, you need that support system. And so support from your relationships and your friends and your family is so vital just for your mental health well-being. Because a lot of times, and I know we've had those moments where you just feel like you about to just freak out and just you about to lose your mind. And to me, I would not be able to handle a lot of the things that I can handle. And I feel like I can handle a lot, but without support from family, from friends, I would dare say it would probably be almost impossible to do. You need that peace of mind. You need that clarity. You need someone that will pick you up when you're down, even if they're down themselves. Sometimes those words, I had one of my friends back in high school, I would tell her, I was like, you got the best doggone advice, but you need to follow your own. But she was like, that's what I got you for. You just reiterate what I'm saying to you. And it's the truth. You need that support system. And going through deployments, being away for year and a half, 2 years at a time, it wouldn't happen if I didn't have support from everybody. And I think people need to take that and just soak that up for a minute. Sometimes if you got a cousin that just call you out the blue and you wonder why they talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, just let it happen, because probably all they needed was that one conversation, that one little piece of support from you.
Somebody on the other end.
Yeah. I mean, and don't, a lot of times we get kind of caught up in our busy lives and our day-to-day just running back, but that support means everything. I mean, there's nothing better than when you come home from a stressful day and somebody's going to listen to everything, not looking off and veering off to something, but they actually listen to what you're saying, even though, I know my wife wouldn't know what the heck I was talking about when I get off into air traffic control jargon or Marine Corps jargon and talking about tanks and stuff, but sitting there just listening at me and like, actively listening, kicking back what I'm saying. That made that
that's priceless. Yeah, it is. And it is good when you even have somebody that is interested in listening, even if they, like you said, may not understand what you're talking about, but just really interested in listening. And honestly, sometimes it is challenging to active listen. It is.
It is.
I mean, for me, sometimes it is like I can, my family, Keeslin or Roger, be talking, and sometimes I do zone out or zone off, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't do that. But it happens. So it's it may be just me, but maybe because my mind kind of travels fast, and I'm that person that's always thinking ahead. And but I have to make it a point to make sure I am listening, Because she'll say, Mom, you're not listening. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening. I'm
Yeah.
listening. And
I'm
just
no, I'm
want to
I'm
listen.
notorious. I'm notorious for that one because even my daughter would be like, "Daddy." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Y'all
Yeah.
always want to pick the wrong time. You wait till I sit down and I get comfortable. Let me have my little 10 minutes right here, and then I
Or
got
if
it. You
something,
get all
or if 50 things going on at the same time. You're like,
yeah.
you're trying to figure something out. And hey, can you listen to this? Yeah, go ahead, talk. And you're
Yeah.
still not even present. And that's the thing that, at one point I had it down to be present. But then I've gotten away from it. So I'm trying to zone back in to be present in the moment, because that's key, and not getting too far ahead, looking forward, or even looking back, but being present in the moment. So when you're present in the moment, you can active listen because you're paying attention to the person that's there. So, and again, that support, just listening, is key. The support of family and friends. I know I wouldn't be where I am without that. Even, just being, before I was married, a single mom, which is why I came back, because, I needed the support team. I couldn't do it by myself. It was hard. It was challenging. I tell anybody gets, with child now, I was like, okay, and you're single. Okay, this is what I went through. I'm just gonna tell you, you can't walk out the door without paying somebody. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Unless you're home, but being home, you can call somebody. Hey,
Yeah.
Whoever, your cousin. Hey, can I drop off here? It's a difference. So it's a difference. So support from your family regarding, kids. Support from your family regarding your job. Support from your family regarding your business. It's very important. Very important.
Yeah. You said one day living in the present. That was one of the biggest things, that the kind of like the promise I made to myself and my family by being gone. Deployments and things like that. I missed my baby's first steps. I was able to see him born, and then I was gone. And I tell you, there's no worse feeling. I know a lot of people see those videos when people will come home from, but you don't really see the real change that happens. It's great to see people hug when they come off of planes and they surprise the kids, but it's almost like life is went on without you. And for me, when they were that young, there's no worse feeling than your kids looking at you and they don't know who you are. And I needed, my wife, I needed my dad, I needed my mama, just to make me feel like, hey man, they don't worry about it, because little stuff like that are a lot of things that military families go through that you just don't realize. And it's a humbling experience. And living in the present, every birthday I have, like the past 10 years has went by fast. I don't even know what happened. So I'm kind of like, every year I want to just take time and just reflect on what happened, good, bad, and different, and just soak up each moment, each day. Because like you said, that time goes by and you won't even realize, which makes me want to tell everybody, I gotta apologize. Anybody out there that I've been incognito for a while. COVID has hit the family. So hey, look, if you hadn't heard from me, Byron is not acting funny. It's just been busy, just family. So but I still need that support. Yeah,
take care of yourself. Yeah, you had to be a support to your family, the ones that having, going through COVID issues. So, family's first. I always say God, family, and then work. So you got to put that in order. But again, family support is so key. Even when I went through the ordeal last year, it's so important to have even the circle of 12. I call them circle of 12 that I had around me. It was so important for me to have that. Not only praying, but just being able to talk and tell people, okay, here's an update. This is what they're saying. Even my mom cooking for us on days I would have treatments, swinging by, picking up the food, that stuff was just priceless.
That goes a long way.
Man. I was like, man, and she didn't have to do it. I was like, Mom, I can do it. She's like, no, you just rest. Roger just rest. Y'all going through a lot. I mean, I can, at least do every other treatment or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. So I would just swing by, get
but
the
ain't
food.
That like the big indicator? Because when you go through some real stuff, a lot of folks will fade into the back, and it'll only be that select few that'll really come through when everybody else has forgotten about you. And that's how it is. When you get into some rough times, I like I said, the only other thing outside of deployment, I would say like Hurricane Michael. It was some people that really came that I never thought, would
Yeah.
come through as great as they did. And I didn't, and never, and asked anything for it in return.
Yeah.
So
But it's funny
that's
you said that, because people support you when you're high, or when they
oh
think
yeah.
you're high.
Oh
They
yeah.
flying high, but and I was kind of living a double life last year. And I did see some things. I was like, I did kind of weed out people, but I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when people think you flying high, that support diminishes because there's some, strife or jealousy there. It can flip. They think you're flying high, and then they kind of back away and they don't support you. So it can go the opposite way. And like I said, I was living a double life. Last year I was, people thought I was flying high, but really I was at my lowest moment, health wise. And people didn't realize that. But my key people, they were my armor bearers, is what I call them too. They, held me up, hey, Ron says, what you need us to do, you want us to be there, pick something up for you, whatever. And it's just priceless. So it's valuable. Support is valuable. Don't think it is. And if you want support, you have to give support. Remember that as well. So yeah.
So bottom line, be that support.
Be that support. Yeah.
Never devalue your phone call or your conversation or your words, because it could be that one thing that just set somebody on their path, or it could be that one call that they needed that, did them in, so never devalue your time and just your voice to somebody.
And you may not even think it's something. I'm going to say this and we'll be up against the clock, but Roger told me, matter of fact, yesterday morning, that an elderly lady sent a message to me and said that, she really likes hearing me on the air, on the radio. And she says she knows what day of the week it is because I tell her every morning. It is Monday morning. And that meant so much to me. I was like, man, she doesn't know what day of the week it is until I say it on the air. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So just her saying that just kind of made me light up. Like, man, okay, it's what I'm doing is valuable. So just support. I brought that up because you may not know what you're saying, but it may mean the world to somebody else.
That's right.
Just an encouraging word and just a positive word. So all goes back to it. So again, all right, we are up against the clock, and thank you everyone for watching Bottom Line with Roni Byron. Thank you for the support. Thank you to our sponsors and to the ones that advertise with us. We really, appreciate you, and want to say thank you again. And remember this: when you know the truth, you can speak the truth, and the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We will see you next week.
Peace.